So there's nothing more annoying than wanting to achieve a goal, whether it's weight loss, starting a business, going back to school, whatever it is. And every single time you start, you end up giving up and years go by and you're in the exact same position you've been in. If that sounds familiar to you, welcome to the channel. My name is Jasmine, and in this video, I want to talk to you guys about a mindset shift that I had to do within my own life to finally reach the goals that I always had for myself. So I used to have an all or nothing mindset. Like I had to commit to it like heavy. I had to have like a to-do list of 20 things that I had to do every single day. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It was definitely go hard or go home, all or nothing. And I would always find myself burnt out. And then I would get upset with myself because I failed yet again, which would make me not want to restart because I'm like, for what? All I'm going to do is give up. And it's just a toxic cycle. It's actually kind of depressing. Like I wanted to lose weight for years, but I would always yo-yo diet. I had wanted to start a business for years before I started one. I always had all these great ideas, but I always gave up on them because I couldn't keep the all or nothing mindset going. And I had to change that. First of all, that's what burns you out. Having a to-do list and then having a to-do list of like 20,000 things. And then on top of that, you're making yourself feel bad if you can't get all of this stuff done. It's a lot. And that's why it never works out, okay? But I didn't realize that until I would say the past 2 years. So the new mindset that I have that's actually been giving me a lot of success, that's allowed me to expand my business, lose weight, and keep it off, is you have to crawl before you walk and walk before you run. In other words, taking small baby steps that will get you to the overall goal that you have. So let me give it to you in terms of weight loss, right? Before I would start these crazy fad diets where it was like, okay, I have to only eat 1,000 calories or less. By the way, that is complete starvation, right? If you do that, if you don't know, now you know. And then I had to be in the gym for like 4 hours. So when I would get off work, I had to be in the gym for 4 hours or I'm not doing nothing. And I could not take any days off because I need to get this weight off as quickly as possible. That was the mindset that I always had. Always failed because I'm hungry, I'm tired and resenting the gym, and I'm still fat. It never worked out because that was the all or nothing mindset that I had. But when I started working out and losing 100 pounds this go around, first of all, I hired a personal trainer, so that took care of half the problems because I didn't know what I was doing. But secondly, he actually didn't have me doing all the things that I do in the gym today. We started slowly. So he didn't eat, like his goal for me was to get me to eating around 1,600 calories a day, but he didn't even expect me to reach that goal right away. He had actually suggested that just choose one meal and slice whatever I'm eating in half. So if I'm eating a big bowl of spaghetti for dinner, slice it in half, but still enjoy my breakfast and lunch, right? If I'm going out to eat and I eat out every single day, instead of every day 3 times a day, let's just do 2 times a day. That was the approach that he had. And so when I was able to get to that point where I was slowly eliminating something unhealthy in my life, it became so much more easier for me to be consistent and actually get to that 1,600 calorie goal because I worked my way up to it. I also had that approach when I became vegan. So if you didn't know, I'm plant-based. And when I first started that, my personal trainer is plant-based too, but when I first started that, I didn't start plant-based. I actually started by only having one plant-based meal a day. So I chose breakfast because I enjoyed the non-dairy yogurt. I enjoyed a big bowl of strawberries and some granola. So that was something that I could maintain. And then once I got comfortable with doing that for breakfast, then I upped it to breakfast and lunch plant-based. Got used to that, started feeling good about that. And then I got rid of the animal product for dinner. And that's how I became plant-based, and I'm still plant-based to this day. So, and that was 4 years ago. So that's the approach you have to have. When you go all or nothing, you crash out because you're not giving yourself time to adjust to the changes. Like any change that you're making in your life is a big one because 9 times out of 10, the habits that you have, you've been had those habits. Like, this isn't something new that happened last week. You've been a binge eater. You've been a procrastinator. You've been someone who talks to yourself negatively. Like, you've been doing that for years, right? That's just who you've become, but that's not who you have to stay. So in order to completely change yourself and do it successfully and keep it going, you got to start smaller. So choose one thing. Maybe you want us to create content, right? But you're not creating any content at all. Like, you're just kind of stagnant. You feel overwhelmed. And that's the other thing too. When you feel overwhelmed, you just freeze and then you don't do anything but waste more time. So maybe you do want to create content, but you feel overwhelmed with being in front of the camera, not knowing what to say. Instead of you trying to commit to posting content every day, because that's what I'm going to teach you if you're inside of Glow Up Academy. Like, we're going to get to the point where we're posting every day. But instead of you focusing just on that and then getting down on yourself because you can't commit to posting once every day because you're camera shy, let's just start with you being in front of the camera more regularly. So multiple times a day, sitting in front of your camera and talking to it, whether you're doing 30 seconds, whether you're doing 2 minutes, right? Just talk to the camera as often as you can and do that every single day. Well, now you're building those new comfort muscles, right? So now you have become comfortable with being in front of the camera. So now that camera shyness is no longer a problem of yours. And then once we've gotten to that, well, then let's commit to just posting one 30-second video a week. Like, 30 seconds. Like, come on, girl, you're on social media all day. You can do 30 seconds, right? You got 6 days to plan it out. You got 6 days to script it if you want to do that. You got 6 days to get out your head. You got 6 days to get everything done in order to post this video on the 7th day. And it only has to be 30 seconds. And then once you get comfortable with that, now you're posting consistently once a week. Well, then you just up it to 2, 3, and so on and so forth. And that mindset, approaching it like that, creates new routines. You're building a new identity. It literally turns into something that you're just used to doing, and you don't even think about it anymore because of the fact that you slowly built those muscles to get it done. Okay? And now that's become a part of your routine. If you're now used to posting once a week, you don't even think about posting once a week anymore. Just like you don't think about brushing your teeth because that's just something that you do. You figured out how to squeeze it in. You figured out how to cut things out so that you have time to get that done. But that's because you did it slowly, right? And that mindset is what's going to get you to the point where you're a completely different person. So something else that I started incorporating within my business, because I still do run my OnlyFans business, but I also run this business. Well, now what I do is I have certain days where I'm just recording for OnlyFans. Then I have certain days where I'm recording for this. And I have certain days where I'm on live. I've noticed for myself being on TikTok live, because I'm on there for about 3 hours, that it doesn't drain me, but it takes energy, right? And so when I'm getting off, I don't have a full day's worth of energy anymore because I've already used up 3 hours being on that live. So I understand that on those days, I'm actually not going to record content at all. I'm just going to edit, right? I'm just going to sit in front of my laptop for an hour or two and edit the videos out, get them queued up onto the YouTube. But I started all that slowly. I started incorporating all that stuff slowly, figuring out what works, what doesn't work. Sometimes you think you will have the energy capacity to do X, Y, Z, but then after doing it for a few weeks, you're like, I can't keep this up. I'm not going to be able to keep this up. This, no matter how hard I try, this routine, this schedule is not working. So I got to fix something so that I can make it work. And it's not daunting, right? Because you're going to crawl before you walk. You're going to walk before we run. You're going to slowly take those small steps. And back to feeling overwhelmed, like, for instance, losing 100 pounds is a lot of weight. That's like a whole person practically. If I solely focused on losing 100 pounds every single day, that goal within itself would bog me down. That goal within itself would make me feel overwhelmed and second guessing myself. There's no way I'm going to. The success rate of people losing that much weight and keeping it off, the odds are against me. Like, I'm not going to be able to do it. You start talking yourself out of it because you're so focused on that big ass goal. But instead of focusing on that, focus on the little things. It's still going to be challenging, right? Because you're creating a new identity, but focusing on the little things that you could do that will eventually get you to that big goal. So for me, cutting out soda, I used to be a soda junkie. Okay, so that was still a challenge, right? But now I'm more so focused on, instead of drinking soda for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I'm gonna only allow myself to drink soda for dinner, right? Then once I got comfortable with that, now I'm not gonna drink soda at all, okay? I'm solely drinking water. Once I got comfortable with that, and this is over the course of weeks, you guys. Once I got that, then I'm like, okay, I told y'all back then I was still doing fast food I was doing fast food 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I never cooked. So then I'm like, okay, well, I'm no longer drinking soda. Now I'm gonna have one home cooked meal a day, whether I want to do that for breakfast, lunch, dinner, right? So I'm slowly getting out of the fast food thing. That now becomes my new comfort. So I'm no longer miserable at the fact that I'm not eating fast food every day because I've weaned myself off of it, right? Slowly but surely. Well, next thing you know, over the course of 4 months, you're already down 20 pounds. Just because you slowly did that. Then you want to start maybe you want to start going to the gym, but you're not going to commit to 4 days yet. That's a little much. You might say, okay, well, shoot, I'm going to do 1 day a week. I'm going to do 1 day a week. I'm going to lift weights for 1 day. Yeah, I know they're saying I got to lift 3 times a week, 4 times a week to build muscle and maintain it. But I'm going to lock in on going once a week for 10 minutes. Just do 10 minutes, right? Okay, you knock that out. Cool. You're like, well, shit, 10 minutes isn't that bad. I could, you know what? I'm gonna do 20. I can do 20 because I was able to do 10. 10 is easy. You know, I'm in and out. I'm gonna lock into 20. Now I'm gonna lock into 2 times a week. You know, that wasn't so bad. I'm actually starting to enjoy it, right? Now I'm gonna do 2 times a week. Next thing you know, slowly but surely doing that, you're doing 3 times a week. And in the course of a month or 2 of you implementing that into your schedule, building that new routine for yourself, you're already starting to see a little bit of definition. Like, that's what I'm saying. Stop overwhelming yourself. Stop doing this all or nothing. And I'm guilty of it too, because I feel like society just paints this picture like, if you want to be successful, if you want to be great, you got to hustle, hustle, hustle. Don't stop, don't sleep, right? You sleep when you're dead. Like, it's toxic. I know it sounds crazy, but it's toxic, right? And so it really makes you believe that you have to do all or nothing or you're not doing shit. But this is why I tell y'all, get off of social media. Like, get off of social media because you realize you are doing stuff. You need to start being proud of the consistency that you're developing. Sometimes people don't think they're consistent with stuff unless it's grand scale, but that's not true. Being able to go to the gym once a week and you've been consistent with that for 4 weeks, well, that's consistency. Now it's just a matter of upping it from one time a week to 2 times a week, right? But that's still consistency. You're building that consistency muscle, and that consistency muscle that you're building in that particular goal, whatever it is, that's going to carry you into the next goal. That's going to bleed into the next goal. Because now you're just becoming a consistent person overall. And when now you're building confidence, you're feeling good. Like I said earlier, when you start going to the gym more often and you're feeling proud about yourself, you're building that confidence. Now you're looking at yourself differently. And when you get some confidence, it's over from there. When you truly become confident in yourself, it's over. Okay, every single goal that you have for yourself, you might as well go ahead and check it off because you're already going to get it done because you have the consistency that you need to actually get it done, and that's because you adapted a whole new mindset. So let me know what you guys think of this video. Leave a thumbs up, comment down below. Are you gonna start implementing things slowly but surely, taking your baby steps? Do you have an all or nothing mindset? I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.